Hi kids, this is Mrs. Pierce. When I told one of my neighbors that I was reading stories to you, she wanted me to read one of her books. This is called The Kissing Hand by Audrey Penn. I bet you know what kind of animals those are. And if you look, there's some possums hanging in the tree that are friends of the raccoon. We have possums in North Park, don't we? This book is to Stephanie, Rebecca, and children everywhere who love to be loved. Chester Raccoon stood on the edge of the forest and cried. "I don't want to go to school," he told his mother. "I want to stay home with you. I want to play with my friends and play with my toys and read my books and swing on my swing. May I stay home with you, please?" And I was thinking of you guys that are all wishing you could get back to school. Mrs. Raccoon took Chester by the hand and nuzzled him on the ear. "Sometimes we all have to do things we don't want to do," she told him gently, "even if they seem strange and scary at first. But you'll love school once you start." That's true, isn't it? You'll make new friends and play with new toys, read new books, and swing on new swings. Besides, she added, "I know a wonderful secret that will make your nights at school seem as warm and cozy as your days at home." Notice she said nights at school. Do you think that's because the animals go out at night for school? Chester wiped away his tears and looked interested. "A secret? What kind of secret?" "A very old secret," said Mrs. Raccoon. "I learned it from my mother, and she learned it from hers. It's called the kissing hand." "The kissing hand?" asked Chester. "What's that?" "I'll show you." Mrs. Raccoon took Chester's left hand and spread open his tiny fingers into a fan. Leaning forward, she kissed Chester right on the middle of his palm. Chester felt his mother's kiss rush from his hand up his arm and into his heart. Even his silky black mask tingled with a special warmth. Mrs. Raccoon smiled. "Now," she told Chester, "whenever you feel lonely and need a little loving from home, just press your hand to your cheek and think, 'Mommy loves you. Mommy loves you.' And that very kiss will jump to your face and fill you with toasty, warm thoughts." Wow, look at that beautiful big tree. She took Chester's hand and carefully wrapped his fingers around the kiss. "Now do be careful not to lose it," she teased him. "But don't worry, when you open your hand and wash your food, I promise the kiss will stick." I think it'll stick when we have to wash our hands so much these days too. Chester loved his kissing hand. Now he knew his mother's love would go with him wherever he went, even to school. That night, Chester stood in front of his school and looked thoughtful. Suddenly he turned to his mother and grinned. "Give me your hand," he told her. And look, his school is a big old tree in the dark. Chester took his mother's hand in his own and unfolded her large, familiar fingers into a fan. Next, he leaned forward and kissed the center of her hand. Mrs. Raccoon watched Chester scamper away across a tree limb and enter the school. As a hoot owl rang in the new school year, she pressed her left hand to her cheek and smiled. The warmth of Chester's kiss filled her heart with special words. "Chester loves you, Chester loves you," it sang. See her hand pressed to her face. "I love you," and there's the kissing hand. Do you think if you do that and have your mother kiss in your hand, or you kiss in hers, it will stay there whether you wash it or not? And whenever you need to, you can press your hand right up against your cheek.